Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
Good morning, the Rise Up Morning Show.
Will, good morning. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm doing good.
Hold on to your sniffles.
I wish I had $5 million, but I'm good.
I wish I had $5 million too. And
It's like given to me right now. That'd be nice.
yeah, exactly. $5 million and, you know, the ability to wave a magic wand and make one or two things different. But here we are.
Massive cock. And live is banned.
Right, exactly. If you've never seen this before, this is the place you come for helpful news, commentary, and answers to your crypto questions. And yes, it's true. We fired Alex on his birthday. Today is Alex Popovich's birthday. So if you see him around the internet, please be sure to tell him happy birthday. Tell him thanks for his work. All those good things. He was out after Rise Up After Dark. He went to go get some drinks with, I think it was Christina and her parents, and is understandably taking the morning off. So be sure to send him a comment.
How rude, because he said we were going to talk together about the DOJ letting Biden sell all of the Bitcoin, which isn't true.
He absolutely rugged us. He absolutely rugged us. That's okay. We can talk about that. We can talk about yesterday being kind of a weird red day. A lot of people were asking about that on Rise Up After Dark last night. And by the way, if you missed the show, it was super good. We had Nathan on, DeFi Daddy, aka Decentralized Father, for a bunch of really cool tokens that I was excited to do a deep dive into. Will, man, what about you? Where do you want to start today? What are you feeling most excited or least excited and want to get out of the way?
I don't know.
Okay,
honestly, like right now, like the market's just kind of boring because it's in like a wait and see kind of period for me. You know, I mean, I look at Bitcoin and I see that there's a higher low right now in the chart, but I don't know if that's going to hold. I think signs are showing that at least making a double bottom of sorts, maybe a little bit below that, a little bit of a lower low, seem to be a little bit more likely than this holding. But yeah, so like I'm just like, okay, I'm just in a wait and see kind of situation. So that's just where my head's at.
So one of the comments that we had yesterday was from Farah in our Discord, and she was saying something about how curious she was to know why it happened at exactly 12:30 p.m. Eastern that the market was down at its lowest point. And I always struggle to answer those questions, not necessarily because I'm not plugged into what's going on. Like, I'm not as much of a macro person as you, but I don't necessarily think it's helpful to say at 12:34 p.m. yesterday, that's when the market was lowest. And so what happened at 9:30 or what happened at this time? I find it's often really hard and usually doesn't do much for my investing, like my ability to be strategic.
There's a very clear answer as to why.
Okay, is there?
At that time, more people sold than bought. That's why. That's why it happened. That's it. There you go. That's your answer.
Damn, man.
That's your answer.
I'm giving you a point for that. That we don't even do points in the morning show. That's a point
points
answer.
In the morning show. You know, that's the only way price goes down, guys. More people sell than buy.
More people sell than buy.
And sometimes that's just the way the market goes.
Whoa. Hey, Will, listen. While we, I just can't get over that. That was profound, man.
Profound. Yeah.
While we prep to talk a little about the DOJ and this Bitcoin sale,
I make the big bucks.
I do see that we have our friend Robbie Reyes requesting to join the show. So I'm going to bring him on up because we haven't had him in a minute, and let's see how he's doing. What's going on, Robbie? How you been, man?
What up?
Hello. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It's good to talk to you in 2025. How you been, brother?
I have been very good. I'm still in the meme coin circus.
Oh, you are?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
How's that going?
How's the circus?
The circus is okay. It has been pretty rough. A lot of people that joined the group and things that we were in didn't have the best interests of the groups and things like that, but that's nothing new. But we're kind of moving on.
Yeah. Well, what brings you to the show today?
Well, I have something that I would. Well, it's kind of just coming out, but I was just interested if you had any thoughts on ERC Zero.
ERC Zero. Oh, I've heard of that. I haven't looked into it.
I have
Evan.
too, but I don't know the pitch. Can you pitch us on it while we pull it up?
Gasless ETH.
Oh, yeah, I have heard of that. Let me see. I'm going to look into it again a little bit here. But Gasless ETH, someone's paying those fees. So who's paying the fees? Let's find out.
That's what I'm interested. I was just, if you could do a mini deep dive, it would answer maybe some questions like that. Very question.
Well, for people who want to play at home, they are at x.com/ERC0, ZERO, all spelled out.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for their official website to call. ERC0.io. Will, maybe you could get the website because it's.
I have the
taking a second
website.
to
They
load.
only have 237 followers on Twitter.
Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Yep.
Are we looking at their
It is a
official
very-
page, Robbie? 237?
It is coming out very kind of stealthily.
And where did you hear about it?
Well, I'm kind of involved in a bit of the team.
Okay, tell me more about that. You're involved team. How? Like it's a large team, it's a small team. What can you tell us about it?
Basically, it's a gasless swap. They've launched a DApp, and it is called Craze.fun, where you can create tokens like Pump.fun, but you pay no gas while you're in there. And once the token comes out in bonds, it just goes on to the Uniswap or DEX screener, the same as every other token, the same as Pump Fun.
Okay,
Yeah,
but tell me
so,
specifically about. Oh, go ahead, Will.
They don't have a white paper available yet. It's listed as coming soon. Which,
Yeah.
Right now, it just has me worried out the gate. But, you know, I always like to see a white paper, but if they
Yeah.
can come out with one.
And I'm curious, Robbie, since you mentioned you're kind of in with the team, like I want to know about the team. Who are they? What have they built before? Have they raised any money? Why are we trusting them to deliver a valuable solution right now?
Well, basically, the guy that's involved in it is kind of on his own. He's had this idea for a number of years, and he's been involved in pretty big teams.
Pretty big how? Like pretty big corporate teams, pretty big in terms of revenue. Is he a meme coin guy? And is he a technical person or is he a,
He's a more technical creator.
okay. Is he an anonymous person?
No, but I can't really say too much.
I'm interested to know what's the cause? Is it just because it's
the end game is to do away with gas on ETH.
I'm skeptical about it.
Yeah. I would
I'm
immediately-
skeptical.
I'm
yeah,
open to learning more. I found their documents, by the way. I'm
Oh, you
taking
did?
a look through it. For it's the documents
Even
for
though-
Craze.fun. But immediately
Yeah,
I just go
Craze.fun.
gasless one-man team. I'll wait till I see the proof in the pudding.
There are some special people about. That's all I can say, really.
yeah, okay. Well, I'll be interested to see it as it grows. It's interesting to me just because, you know, gas abstraction is a worthy cause to pursue. I think it would be really difficult to abstract gas at the L1 protocol level without doing some kind of fork, which I know the Ethereum Foundation is already doing. I would be skeptical about anybody doing it who's not like officially partnered with the Ethereum Foundation, who doesn't have a lot of followers, who's doing it kind of clandestinely. Like that makes me
Yeah.
skeptical, not because of this one particular project. I'd be skeptical of anybody doing that because it's such a big task. You know,
If I'm reading into this correctly, here's how this works. So while transactions with Craze.fun are gas-free, dispersing Ethereum requires a small gas fee. This fee covers network costs, variable rates, and it says transparent, which is the fee amount displayed before you confirm the dispersal. So if I'm reading this correctly, and maybe I'm misunderstanding this, it just seems like he's renaming gas fee into something else. But maybe I'm reading into this incorrectly.
Well, they're kind of hoping that it becomes a protocol.
I'll have to learn some more about it. Will you keep us posted on it, Robbie?
Yeah. Other than that, I know you were saying about Bitcoin there. I was just thinking maybe the way things is going, I thought this was going to be a nice green week, but it looks like it's going to be red. And
I was also thinking it was going to be a green week, but here we are.
Yeah. Here we are.
So
That's the
maybe-
way the cookie crumbles, huh?
Mm-hmm.
maybe a couple of weeks down till the inauguration, and then maybe a pump around that time. I was considering happening.
I think
Yeah.
something interesting is going to happen in the sense that the market will have more certainty, and so we'll have a lot of macro news around the time of the inauguration, and people will move. I think
there's also a lot of uncertainty as to what Trump is actually going to do on day one, because he said a lot of stuff that he'll do on day one with executive orders. One of them is going to be trying to use an executive order to create the strategic reserve for Bitcoin. And, there's just a lot of skepticism when a politician says they're going to do stuff on day one, because they don't typically do. They do some stuff, Is this going to be included in that stuff? So we'll see. We'll see. I think if he's inaugurated and then his official day one, it actually happens, the Bitcoin that the United States holds ends up being put into like a different accounting sheet and it's being hodled. If he's able to pass that, then I think the market's like, oh, hey, confidence, a sure thing. Look at that. I think the market would do well.
I'm kind of in alignment with Cosmic down there, who says, I think we pump in a matter of days. I think, especially if that's the kind of thing Trump is doing, we'll get some big bumps. It wouldn't surprise me if we had like a little dip if he didn't take action in a crypto way quickly enough. But we broke the news last night. Kimberly was telling me that they're going to have like an inaugural crypto ball, which is really a PR event that the president and JD Vance have agreed to go to. It's like put together by the Bitcoin conference people, and shucks, I just navigated away from it. It's like media companies, but Coinbase and Solana and everybody Stand With Crypto are going to sponsor it. So like, I think people will get maybe a little nervous around that if that's our only news. And then day one, he doesn't say anything about Bitcoin. I could see, a little bit of this happening, but I think shortly after he's elected.
We were kind of expecting in the UK for him to say something after that Largo kind of chat he had yesterday.
You're talking about the one with Kevin O'Leary?
The live that was on the news from yesterday about Canada and Panama and NATO and all the things that he was going on about. So, like, our problems in the UK are a bit bigger than yours at the minute because everything's falling apart in the UK at the minute. Even Elon's getting in on it.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. It seems like Europe is collectively getting a lot of influence from folks like Elon. And also, I don't know, I don't mean to lump everyone in Europe together, but I know it seems to me anyway, like there's sort of a tug of war between like the US and Russia, and pretty much everybody who's geographically in the middle, especially people who are on the same landmass. When we were in Prague in the Czech Republic, a lot of people felt uneasy about the situation in Ukraine, the situation in Israel, an increase in like immigration throughout Europe to those countries that are kind of in proximity to some of these crises that are happening. Like they felt kind of like we don't really have anything to do with this, but we're kind of powerless to stop it. Is that how it is in the UK? Would you say?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's everybody looks to the States as a superpower still. There's no ifs or ands or buts about it. So we kind of think that the relationship that Donald has with Putin, might make a difference, but we kind of were thinking that all this Ukraine thing would be wrapped up for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, when we were in Prague, there were somebody was saying to us, they were saying, it's very interesting. Everyone in the U.S. is divided on it, but I hear people say either how important it is to keep supporting Ukraine, or the prevailing opinion I hear is we have to stop sending money, like as if sending money to them is, impacting us in a particular way. And the people that I talked to in the Czech Republic were like, we absolutely have to keep supporting Ukraine, because if Ukraine falls, then it's going to signal to Putin he can take what he wants. And literally, he will be one step closer to anybody else west of Ukraine.
And anyone in the Czech Republic with the history of the Czech Republic is very, very worried of Russia, also Germany, but Russia right now.
Yeah. So shout out to our friends there.
So, I mean, I'm very much so. I would love to keep putting money into Ukraine. Also, most of that money comes back to the U.S. It's indirect stimulus. Is there some corruption? I'm sure there is. Does all that money come back to the U.S.? Of course it doesn't. But most of that money is spent on military equipment, which we sell. So it's indirect stimulus of our defense sector, which is the reason why our manufacturing has been doing so well over the past 2.5, 3 years. It's because of Ukraine. It's a direct way to stimulate the U.S. manufacturing sector in blue-collar jobs, which is, I like. And also Ukraine gets to fight and weaken Russia for us, which in the game of empires, I'm also a fan of, being an American.
Yeah, and in case you didn't know, money is like the Points on the Rise Up morning show, where the rules are made up and the points don't matter until your eggs get more expensive at the grocery store. So,
yeah. Now, it would be great if we could also cut checks like that to, help out the fires that were in Maui. And now help out the fires that are destroying California.
In the Palisades. Whoa, man.
Yeah.
I saw footage of that, and I gotta say, I know we have a lot of listeners who come from California generally, but especially if you're in the LA area, we are I wish there was something we could do to help you, but please stay safe and take care of yourselves out there. It's still going. It's a wild time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Robbie, we'd love to get a final thought, question, suggestion, good joke, word of wisdom from you. And then we're going to bump on, I think, to talk a little about this DOJ Bitcoin thing. And I do see Farah in the audience, so I want to get Will to say what he said a minute ago about the markets. But
she was here for it.
She was?
Yeah.
Okay, good. That was profound, man. I really will be thinking about that and saying it all the time. But Robbie, man, before we head off and into the weekend, do you have a word of wisdom for us? Do you have a last question, suggestion, good joke?
No, not really. I'm kind of just hoping Will talks a little bit more about Airdrome and the usual good tips and things that he has. I've been out of everything really, apart from memes and all. Now we're getting into ETH, so I haven't really been paying attention.
Yeah. I bought some Aerodrome yesterday. I happened to have some money lying around, and I saw it was like $1.27 or something, and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I bought more Aerodrome with the last cash I had, I think about a week ago. So I'm still a little down from there. But I was just, buying in near the highs too. So I didn't do a great job with that. But because I bought in near highs with some cash, I was like, well, I'm just going to keep. So I just kept dollar cost averaging, because, that's how you win. You got to bring down your average buy-in price if you can. And if you do that in an asset that you believe in, usually ends up going up, you have conviction in, and then your average price, and I'm just going to pick an arbitrary number. Actually, let's just say, I'll pull up Aerodrome's chart right now. Let's just say your average buy-in price was, what are we at right now? Let's say you bought in at $2.20, but then you're like, all right, shit. Market's going down, so I'm just going to buy once every 3 days or so. And then you end up buying between $2.20 and where we are right now, $1.18. Ooh, it just broke the 200-day exponential moving average. I think
$1.18.
I think I think it'll fall down. I'm seeing a lot of support for Aerodrome at $1.05.
Yeah.
But you buy between $2.20 down to $1.05. Your break-even price ends up being $1.72, $1.75 or so, based on that math. which is a much better break-even price than just buying there and then just sitting with frozen hands, not doing anything. You're not putting yourself in a better position to make money. So if you end up buying a high, typically try to find some cash if you can to dollar cost average in, and you'll be back. You'll be back in the black much faster.
Yep.
Rozo.
Oh, you better go get him, Robbie.
Okay. Talk to
Listen,
you later, guys.
thanks for joining the show, brother. Always good to talk to you. Take care.
Bye, bye,
See you, dude.
bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our friend Robbie from the Emerald Isle of Ireland. What do you say, Will? Should we tackle this Bitcoin thing?
Yeah, I started pulling up a few more articles, but it's interesting timing with this Bitcoin thing because like people are just talking about it now, yet the federal judge gave the approval on December 30th, but the news is only going around right now, so like it's strategic.
Yeah, it's strategic, or maybe crypto news companies are just underfunded and not actual journalists. But
No, it's. I mean, there's too much money in it now. There's too much money in it to not have this stuff. You know, it's all manipulation. Why are we being told this 9 days after when it actually happened? Why is it just making the rounds now? It happened on December 30th. And then people are like, oh, God, the DOJ can sell 69,370 Bitcoin. Also, they can do that at any point in time. It's a quarter of the Bitcoin that they have. And also, not a single Satoshi of that is going to hit spot markets and affect pricing, because how they sell things is they sell Bitcoin at auctions. It's not at a spot market. It's not even OTC. Not a single penny of sell side pressure of this Bitcoin is going to hit the market. And so you combine all those things, it's just a big stink. It's just manipulation.
I just, that's the thing though, is it makes me question how and why. And in terms of, I wish I had more time to do the analysis of all the different sites that are breaking this news, who funds them, and then who their editorial board, if they have one, is. Because a lot of crypto news sites are engagement sites masquerading as news. I don't see the article coming from anybody except sites like Crypto Briefing, Investing.com,
Crypto
Decrypt,
Briefing.
nothing on CNN, nothing on the Wall
Nope.
Street Journal, where you would expect it to be if it was going to be a big deal. And so when I pick on crypto, journalists, that's kind of why.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, because we're not even seeing this from like
No.
the big crypto news.
No. I mean, Decrypt is probably the biggest one, and I would say
Yeah.
Decrypt is a pretty good source. But I feel like based on when they chose to release the article, hang on, let me navigate back to it.
January 8th.
I see it 8 hours ago. It looks like other people broke it first. I see 11 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 11 hours ago, 9 hours ago. So they certainly didn't break the article. I imagine they just saw other people publishing it and wanted their piece of the click pie, which is a good business move for them.
Yeah,
and
also
they have the most reasonable take on it too. The ruling
also-
does not ensure immediate liquidation.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Farah and other people who are like, oh yeah, Biden, he's gonna dump it on Trump. No, like, guys, if you the government, when they seize things legally they have to sell it. And so they've been trying to sell another portion of this Bitcoin for a very, very, very long time. This isn't something that just happened. This has been like 7 or 8 months in the workings, because it had to go through a whole court appeal process. So this happened this started happening well before the election. So it's not some political bullshit kind of move from, the person who lost in some kind of petty bullshit move against the person who won, right? Biden against Trump. This is just how things go,
Yeah.
Um,
says it best. The only clear legal rule for crypto: government got to dump.
Government got a dump. Yeah. And it'll be great when we have a strategic reserve created and we can, stop selling the Bitcoin and use it as an asset to help us with our debt, which will be wonderful. And all that means is that Cynthia Lummis's bill will have to buy an additional, 50,000 Bitcoin or so to get us to that 1 million Bitcoin strategic reserve, which will be great because it will most likely affect the spot market, whereas the selling of this will not affect the spot market. So, hey, long term, I'm actually a pretty big fan of it.
Yeah. Oh, me too, for sure. And I am hopeful that the Loomis bill will get passed this year? Like, if you, do you really think Trump is going to talk about it on day one? I would be surprised if he talked about it on day one.
I'd
But
be surprised, but it just depends on how many people close to him he wants to make happy.
I think he's going to talk about it at this crypto ball if he's making a speech. This is January
he'll
17th before the official inauguration. And so that seems like a good opportunity for him to make lots more signaling crypto statements and then get that out of the way and help people in the Palisades, or, send money to Ukraine, or do whatever he's got to do, and then come back to it. Like, that should tide people over enough for the market to be happy about it, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Crypto61 says, we have lots of other shit to deal with. Well said.
But that's
really
the DOJ
quick.
thing. I'll probably have to make a video on that, just to clear up people's fears.
Tori says, 3 of the seized Bitcoins are my friends. Give them back.
Give them back.
Yeah, that does kind of suck for all the people who got their Bitcoin seized, that the government does just get to do whatever they want with them. But alas, here we are. So let us know what questions you have. If you got any questions before we head off into the weekend, those are kind of the big news events. And if you have a question that we don't get to, the best place for it really truly is the Discord server, discord.gg/riseup. We've got all kinds of stuff there. We've got great forums talking about everything from Avalanche to ICP, and everything from what is a gas fee to how does mining work. And we would love to see you there. It's a really helpful place to be. Good morning, Doug. Good morning, Mac Lorden. And apparently Farah is scary. I don't know what that's about. Mac, Doug, if you guys want to come up and give us your take on the market, we'd be glad to see you. And of course, if any of our friends have questions and want to share them that way, you can tap the request button. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, the easiest way to jump in the box with us, like Robbie did, is to come on over to TikTok at Conversations with Evan. And you can request to join the show.
I just saw a funny tweet, and it's from Marty Party. He's a big personality on Twitter. He goes, "Is XRP trying to take over the world at 38 transactions per second? Get real." Take over the world at 38.
Shots fired. Yeah, 38 transactions per second. They're right up there with Cardano and $13 million of TVL or something like that. HOV asked the question, do you think we will get a recovery leg up towards the end of the week, or that we will continue dumping? And I would say, like Will said earlier, I'm not really sure.
No idea. I have no clue.
But nothing has changed about the broader crypto thesis. We're still about to welcome in the most crypto-friendly Congress in the United States, crypto-friendly executive branch, and President Donald Trump and his folks. We have got the backing of people in power around the world, and a lot of helpful legislation is poised to go through. The crypto companies, now that the market is up, are more well-funded than ever to continue sharing what they do with people and then continue building it. I think we're at a really exciting time, and Masari was I think the one I saw first say about 2025. This will be really the year of mass adoption for crypto. A lot of people are saying that.
Yeah, it's you kind of find yourself in an interesting spot though, because at one side you have all those really great, amazing, really big, very, very like weight heavy, positive, bullish things for Bitcoin. On the flip side, inflation's really sticky. The Fed might not be able to keep cutting rates. The Fed might have to hike rates if inflation keeps staying sticky. If that happens, global liquidity decreases. If that happens, less money is available to be able to go into something like Bitcoin. Does that provide Bitcoin the ability to do what Larry Fink is telling everybody it can do, which is it's a safe haven asset? Yeah, it would be a great opportunity for Bitcoin to prove itself there, but still a lot of macro headwinds that aren't great, combined at the same time with a lot of super positive things about to happen for Bitcoin, which usually lifts up all of crypto. So, it's like an real interesting spot we find ourselves in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, at least that I'm listening to, who are talking about macroeconomy say, we've got about a year in terms of crypto going up, playing out the halving thesis, in terms of Donald Trump and the Republican Party being able to pass legislation unilaterally before things like the interest rates, inflation, policies put into place come home to roost, and we get a little more like domestic policy, political unrest as midterm elections come up. Oh, and hey, speaking of come up, here comes our good friend Doug, aka Fresh.
No comments. No comments.
Oh,
Bathroom.
he's back! He's back in the bathroom, baby.
Yeah. We gotta work on
Oh
that.
my gosh, I absolutely love it. Welcome to the show, Doug. How are you today? For the people who can't see Doug or haven't met Doug yet, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or anywhere else on the internet, he joins us with this lovely tiled wall that we will not comment on anymore, but we're just sure he's in a bathroom. So
We're gonna change it for the 10th time, I think, in the coming weeks. We just it needs something fresh. No offense.
no pun intended. What are you thinking, man? How you doing?
I'm, it's because everyone else could be. I mean, it could be worse. I mean, I'm fortunate to be where I am, but things are crazy. Even the West Coast, like damn. So hoping that resolves itself soon. But as it relates to crypto, holding, watching. I mean, I'd say for the moment, I can show you this really quick. I'll do one quick view here. Is that I've been using ETH as kind of like my gauge. See this getting fuzzy here. As like gauge of like when maybe start paying attention again. Probably really hard to see. It's probably blurry. But just looking at levels. Like right now, ETH's 3,300 is 3,100 level. I think we take out the lows from back in the 20th of December, that sell-off, and I think we're going to see below 3,000 ETH, and that would be the ideal place to bounce. That's kind of my view, and I think right now alt season is postponed. There already was an alt season, by the way. There's some alt season in like more fragmented, smaller siloed markets, but I think later part of January, now February, is kind of the ideal spot. But what I was saying earlier on the short stream I had right before this was, like, there's no rush to do anything. And like when markets decide to start turning back up, we're gonna have days to make decisions. Like right now, it's kind of just gotta sit in your hands and watch. Like I'm not
Wait and
entering
see,
any short. Yep. It's just it is what it is. If you're one who is fortunate to have stables there, you can start looking at some of the ones that you have conviction on. Like for me with Arrow, like I'm looking at Arrow now because I want to get in. I missed it earlier, so I'm looking at Arrow between $1.80. And I'm not saying it's going to go there, but that's an area of interest where I would be considering starting to load up at that point. And the question here, are you DCAing? I personally don't DCA. That's just, I look for strength after reversal before getting in, because with the DC, and that this is my strategy. DCAing is fine. Is that, and for me, because I'm staring at charts all day, every day, I'm waiting for that confirmation of like, hey, I believe there's enough people who are buying now to want to start having it move back up, and then at that point I'll add in, and that's a difference of me DCAing, is that the thing? Arrow at like 80 cents versus me buying at 90 cents with strength. I'm okay with that. So it really comes down to how you're looking to expose yourself and invest. That's it.
That's one of my favorite
right
things
now-
about having folks on the show is getting different perspectives, because I tend to like to
Yeah.
DCA a little bit, but
There's
somebody
nothing wrong with
watching,
it. It works.
yeah, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with being like moving with conviction. That's the whole thing. If you got conviction from the chart, you should move.
No doubt. And the DCAing, I have to clarify, DCAing like over time, like someone who buys Bitcoin every single week, regardless of price, 100% support that. Like that's something like when I long time ago was at Merrill Lynch, and like I was doing that with, most of my clients on just getting into mutual funds at the time. It's more of a budgeting type thing, and just having give yourself exposure to the market that's there. So my comments before on DCAing, not a strategy for me, is more for a tactical view of entering a trade, not an investment that you'd want to hold longer, where at that point it makes more sense to DCA.
And CC,
Also,
thank you so much for
DCA
being. Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say DCA is dollar cost averaging.
Yeah.
So it is the practice of buying in, let's just say once a week, every week, and creating an average buy price. You can also do the same thing as like dollar cost averaging your way out, also, where you just kind of sell once a week, for a set period of time until you're out, right? You average your sell position, you average in your buy position.
This reduces volatility, and it can help you if you're trying to reduce your average cost or take the volatility out of selling too. Some people also DCA out of positions if there's not a ton of liquidity. They might have to, meaning the the sale of all their asset at one time would impact the price tremendously. So they choose not to do that. Or they might not literally be able to do that. There might not be money in the pot for them to do it. They might have to.
It depends on personality. Your personality, your goals, and your risk tolerance. They're all the factors that are there. And that's one thing too I want to dive into at some point where I'm going is I know there are ways to do it, but like almost like doing a personality test. There's a really cool one. I think it's the 16 personality types. They have little avatars, figures that are there. But taking the test, understanding yourself, and then saying like, hey, you are most, and age and time for investing horizon, all the factors into, but just the personality aspect of it, where it's like these are the things that maybe are the most ideal trading strategies or investing strategies for you based on your personality. Because a lot of things come from, like, for me, I have like whatever ADHD thing there is, sprinkletism on top, is that I'm much more impulsive, lack of patience. I know most people fall in this category too, right? But like, and understanding that, like, I'd be much better scalp trader. But like, I don't know why I constantly like to swing trade. That's my thing. And when I get it right, they're very good. But it's hard. But for me to realize that, it took me years.
Yeah.
So it's like really understanding yourself and what the market is, and it's not something you just comes today. But you need to really be aware of that to have success if you're looking to start actively trading, regardless of what market it is. Stocks, crypto, it doesn't matter.
This is a case, Emily and Mia say, for an AI bot that is trained to your strategy, an agent. Have you considered deploying one of these agents that can do that? I'm pretty sure on something like Virtuals, you could do that if you have enough documentation about your trades online.
So funny you say this. Before the
official announcement?
No, before the accidental creation of 99 cents in March 2024, which will be a year coming up soon, I was building exactly that. I was building something for
really?
I like drawing squiggles. Like, squiggles are my thing, and I wanted to basically get to a point where I didn't want to be in front of the PC anymore. I wanted to say, hey, could I share my squiggles, my charts with an AI, and have it notify me when the price, if the price went within a certain deviation or variance from the squiggle, to notify me of when I actually cared about entering that position. Otherwise, I don't care about it. I want to look at it again. And you can say, like, oh, you can put alerts on, TradingView. Yeah, but you have to put an alert for once it first crosses this way. And then it's like when it goes up. So it's just a lot of maintenance. And my biggest problem was the management of trade ideas, not the actual trade itself. The trade execution is very by the books, very straightforward, but there's so many markets and where to pay attention. So that's actually still something I am working on now. I'm starting to pick it back up because it's easier to deploy it with the technology that's here. But I will say, to answer your question on the bots, otherwise, let me ask you guys, if there was a bot that said, hey, I'm gonna give you a 99% on win rate, would you use it? And would you stop trading otherwise?
Would I stop trading otherwise? I don't understand that question, but
So
I think
you get 99% success rate. Let's say, like, with using a trading bot. You wouldn't buy your own, like as a human, to go in and hit buy and sell. Would you stop doing buy and sell if you knew it was 99%?
Me
Assuming the
personally,
99% works, yeah, probably.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, so maybe it's just a me thing. I believe most people won't. I feel it's almost like I think this is the addiction part of it, right? So it's almost like, hey, I want to be able to make my own decisions and feel like I see things maybe otherwise. And I get back to the personality trait part that's here, is that I think that's kind of, maybe 99% wasn't the best example, but
I think some really smart traders will see that
if you
and watch
can
it.
guarantee me almost always making money every single time, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm here for.
But I think there will be that. That's going to happen. Whether you make it or somebody else makes it, that's going to happen. Bots will be the best traders on the market until they aren't. I think there will come a swing when people either very smartly pay attention to what the bots are doing, understand the bots, and as the bots get more influence in the market, they do the opposite. They zig when the zag happens. And then I also think people will be like against it sentimentally eventually. But I think in the meantime, people will be like, here, take my money.
Fair. And I'm a unique case, I guess, but yes, you're 100% correct. On the note on saying where I'm like, hey, well, eventually everyone's going to be using the same bots, and the bots are going to be the ones trading the market. So it's more of the, the personality as it relates to the market emotions, right? How markets actually move, like all your different types of I was talking to ChatGPT the other day. I don't do it that much. And I'm saying like, hey, is there a point when if you were to take very, very unconventional ways of looking at markets that you may have a competitive advantage against AI bots because they're methods that don't exist out there? And said, yeah. So where I'm going now is like to your point, Evan, is that I'm trying to look ahead of like, okay, when everyone's using this one thing, is there something else that's completely just asinine that maybe may yield a competitive edge? This is more of a challenge for me right at that point. Like, hey, I like to see when I see these certain patterns of, I see the X-Wing in a pattern. I'll see a dinosaur. I'll see, a sea serpent.
Yeah.
Is AI trained on that? I don't think so, which is so ridiculous. That's not there. So trying to, and I already know the answer to this question, but I'm just trying to humor myself that by looking at markets differently, almost like art, that it may yield a potential advantage against data and AI. And it's extremely difficult for me to even say that because I know it's not true, but I want to at least entertain myself so I have something to do the next couple of years on as it relates to markets.
I think the thing to think about is what will be most human as AI takes over trading, as AI takes over Twitter, because eventually you may have seen this phenomenon already. If you have a certain sizable audience on Twitter or maybe on the 99 cents profile where people are like really engaged, you get a lot of bots in the comments. And there are bots right now that can do our job better. Maybe not on the Rise Up Morning Show, but on Twitter, that can be reply guys, that can reply to every single comment 24/7, that can tweet banger tweets all day long, that can build personal relationships with people in direct messages. And it's not going to be long before every influencer account and every person in the comments is a bot, and it will be all these bots talking to each other. And I really think that what people will crave is some idiot 12-year-old in a room or some unhinged mouthpiece to get online, and by just being novel and human and interesting and real, attract attention. And I think that could happen in financial markets too.
And that's so funny you say that. That's why I'm so, and I'm not on the unicorn fart dust. Have you heard of that token?
Yeah. The old guy who was like, this is so stupid.
He's embracing it. Like he's embracing it. That's there. And he's a genuine, person that was like a skeptic at first. And now he's like doing all the right things. He's communicating to his community. He's like, has good vibes. And like, there's an element of trust there. So I'm hoping kind of to your point on the human side of the equation, using him as one example, but also too, he's attracting a different demographic to crypto now. Like he's like, Can you TLDR people on that for us? Yeah. And then can you answer the question, is there a secret cabal of accidental meme coin founders that you're like hanging out together?
That you're now building a help group, meet once a week.
Yeah. So Ron, I forget his last name. Ron is a
first name basis, confirmed the cabal.
He calls his name Ron. His name's Ron. He's I think he calls himself a boomer, but he's in his early 50s. He's not a boomer, but let's call him a boomer. Gold and silver trader. That's his trade. Like he has a following. He's been doing that for years, very successful doing that. And he always did like a show from his basement. And once meme coins were obviously becoming more mainstream in regards to the awareness of their existence, he's like, hey, I think this is ridiculous. You can't create a meme coin and have it just go to $100 million in a short period of time. She's like, I'm going to prove that's true. So he's like, he always called crypto unicorn fart dust. That was his thing. She's like, I'm going to create a meme called unicorn fart dust, UFD, and I'm going to put it out there and see what happens. Within 24 hours, things like $100 million. And now he's like, I'm a believer. He's like, okay, it's here. And he locked up his supply. He's very engaged with the community, and now he streams every single day. He's got like averages like 10,000 viewers, come through his stream on Twitter and YouTube. Saw one of the guys launched the community launched a free NFT, 1,000 mint, and that thing's like 8 SOL right now each NFT, and like it's a good vibe, and like they have it's a refreshing thing that's in this space of just nonstop AI, non-human type things. And that's what attracts me to it, because it's similar vibes to what 99 cents was. So I just like that project, and I like how he's communicating and going through it. And I do believe, to your point, Evan, going back here, is that there will be an element of trust and like the human side of the equation that will have a competitive advantage against the rest of it, because everything else is just bots, and there's still some human element of the space that's so.
I think the human element only really will show through for things where you have a human to human connection, like a live show like this. But like when it comes to trading, I mean, the AI
different story.
Kind of ultimately,
oh, yeah.
that's just data analysis.
100%.
I think though that there will be some sort of, very soon, somebody like WorldCoin or Talent Protocol. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to we're going to need to scale some sort of blockchain-based credential that proves you're human. A proof of humanity that you see everywhere. You see it on Twitter. Somebody was talking about a little blue dot on Twitter that you see when you sign up for an investment brokerage. I think people will be real friendly about AI and then they won't anymore. And I could absolutely see it becoming like a weird sci-fi prejudice thing where there are people who integrate with AI and people who don't. And then the people who do, they call these people slurs, and the people who live over here, they are prejudiced against these people. I hope it doesn't come that way, but I could absolutely see it happening.
That's an interesting thing. I have to run here in a minute. That what you just said there on the human identification factor. I want to start looking at projects, like researching ones like that. I know they probably exist already, right? But putting them almost like in their little buckets and gauging them, weighing them from the strengths and weaknesses of their go-to-market, the technology that's there, because those are kind of your, I don't want to say they're hidden gems.
Big time.
The key parts of utility that's needed for the space at some point. It's inevitable. Like no one could deny, like what you just said, that's absolutely needed. It's just, so where are they? And what is their chance of actually bringing it to market and being one of the leaders in that space?
So I would say the first ones you should look at are Bravado ID.
You know the answer. Look at this.
Talent Protocol, and WorldCoin. I think Talent Protocol and Bravado ID are my two picks though for most interesting tech and like minds that are working on solving this problem. We had Evan McMullen on the show. She's super fantastic. And they're a lot of these protocols, instead of competing, are talking with each other. WorldCoin is not. WorldCoin is a billionaire trying to take it, and very well could. But
yeah,
the others are very promising, like crypto native people.
Interesting. This is good. These are here. This is why I got you guys, because I don't have to go search for it. So I was talking the other day about outsourcing different aspects of your crypto journey. Where it's like, hey, if you want to talk about charts, I'll talk about charts all day, but I don't have time to go do this research or to follow if there was like a new trend, like NFTs came back. So my comment to everyone in the chat here is that find the experts, find many perspectives of certain areas of crypto and put those as your like go-to. Where it's like, hey, on TikTok now, hopefully this will go away. Like I have my weather guy on TikTok, or a couple weather guys. I have a couple people that are talking about markets, people talking about whatever, and just use those as like your gauge, because you can't know or learn everything. Like there was a point where early in crypto, it's like, I want to know everything. I can do all. No, I can't. Absolutely can't. I know I'm good in this area, so I'll focus there. I'll outsource, or I'll defer my other thoughts to other folks, you guys, to give me insights on things I just didn't know here, these projects. So that's how you'll be most successful in crypto, is just basically balancing out where you want to spend your time and your mind, and the rest of it, just get it from the other experts that are out there.
Excellent. Well said, Doug. Thank you, man, for coming up, and I hope you have a great weekend. A Happy New Year to you. I think this is the first time I'm seeing you face to face in the new year, man.
What's the cutoff? Is there
when we stop saying that?
Yeah.
I'd like to say it the first time I see somebody, if I'm thinking about it, but I'm starting to forget now whether or not I've seen people already. So
I stopped saying it after January 1st.
Do you really?
Oh,
no,
okay.
man. I'm like
Yeah.
a late.
Okay, hey,
I'll
Happy
do
New Year.
too.
And
I'll do a
if someone comes up to me and says Happy New Year on January 9th, I think you guys said Happy New Year to
What
me
the
on
hell
the
are you
first
doing?
show. I was just like, Happy New Year. That was
I
fucking
guess, yeah.
12 years
2025
ago.
doing great right now too. It doesn't help the 25th. It sucks. At the moment, but yeah.
Well, have a
Cool.
good weekend,
All right,
brother.
guys.
Thank you so much for joining us,
Pleasure.
and we'll catch you in the chat. Yeah.
All right, absolutely. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
See ya. Yeah, I still don't like WorldCoin after the whole retina scan thing.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't
don't
actually
trust
like them.
I
And
think-
they also had a
Awful.
really bad rollout in terms of like promising people in the third world and global south all kinds of recompense funds and then not actually
Yes,
delivering.
give us your eye scan and we'll give you a little bit of pretend internet money that'll be incredibly volatile and not worth what it was.
It reminded me of Picoin, honestly, truly. Like they had trouble redeeming it for actual liquidity, and now they've got their retina scan somewhere on the internet in OpenAI's database. Is the sound I would have done. We have a great comment here that I want to draw your attention to from JPill. Who do we blame for our crypto bags? You guys, Calvin, Coach Guy, or Pump It Up Guy? And I just want to say, Will,
the
man, if we're in a
answer is-
category with those guys, we're hosed.
I was gonna say the answer is Space Jesus, but
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I suppose you can blame whoever you want, just so long as you always put at least a little bit of blame on yourself. But you can put a little bit of blame on other people too. When people say like, "Oh, you should like all the blame is on you because it's your own money and your own decisions," I'm like, yeah, but also is like, if I am genuinely trying to help people, as is Evan, as is Alex, we want to put the best information in your hands possible. So like for us, I do feel a little bit of responsibility also. So, I wouldn't say I think people are just way too defensive and they're like, man, I'm just a content creator. I'm like, you made 1,000 videos
Made that call. Yeah.
saying like how good you are at this shit. So like, it's a little bit on you also.
Bob on YouTube says, blame Calvin. LOL.
It's so much nicer to blame everyone else though.
Yeah, and it's tough because you don't want to give your autonomy to other people away. I think Doug's advice was really smart. You should surround yourself with people who are not experts, who have good information and if you have a teacher that you like, I'll give you an example. Will, tell me what you think about this. One of our friends in the community, Joe, was sharing a creator with me. I won't name them because I don't need to. They're not problematic, but they shared this creator because they liked their teaching style. And I said, after watching one or two of their videos, I really like their teaching style too. This person goes slowly. They show everything on screen. They're very anti-TikTok, but much more like a good seminar where you'd actually take notes and hope to learn. But they said 3 or 4 things that were like easy to verify and factually inaccurate. Like they made a claim about a token that had, the first thing they did was they started their video with, this token is going to make you a lot of money. Then they said, here's this token, and it was a 120 market cap token, 120 million, and it had a supply of 11 million and a circulating supply of 7 million. And the analysis they did was they said this token only has a supply of 11 million and 7 million are already gone, so buy it while you can. And then that was like, I immediately lost respect for this person because tokens, if you don't know, and this is something you might not know as a beginner, tokens are fractionalized. You can buy 0.00001 of a token. So it doesn't really matter as much as a stock if it's got a supply of 11 million or a supply of 1 billion. Like that doesn't, they said this low supply will equal high demand, but that's not really true. What creates demand in crypto is, are people talking about you? Do you have a product that people want to use that solves a problem? But mostly, are people talking about you? And then they made the rookie mistake of like, you can verify for any project that's listed on CoinGecko, like this one was, where the supply is. Almost any project that's worth your money is going to tell you in a chart, in a write-up, somewhere online, what their supply is for, whether it's allocated to the team, to the treasury, for competitions, for grants, for VCs, or if it's going to be released to the market. And it took me about 2 seconds to look up where the rest of the supply was, and what the plans for it were. And I had to say to our friend, I said, I do love this person's presentation style, but just because you vibe with their style, if they're giving you bad information, even though you feel good spending time with them, is that really somebody that you want to learn from? Because they're not giving you signal. They're adding to the noise. They're not making you smarter. They're making it harder for you to succeed here because you can't trust them to give you good information. So if that's you and you're trying to learn on TikTok, what Doug said is the best. Nobody is an expert. We spend our time here and do our best, but you got to find people who are concertedly learning, who acknowledge it when they're wrong, who want to improve themselves, and who want to help you improve your situation too, to become a more self-sufficient investor. You always say that, Will, and I think it's great.
That's what I want people to become. That's my goal. I want to motivate people to increase the desire for them to learn more about trading and investing so that they can ultimately make really strategic, informed, calculated, and self-advised from a self-expert yourself decisions, so that I mean, hell, I used to listen to cryptocurrency influencers for like 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, just a whole bunch of different ones. And then, I mean, that stopped like 3 years ago. And then it was just like maybe like an hour a day, 45 minutes a day, YouTube videos, longer ones. And then now it's at the point where it's like, I don't really watch anybody unless like I really just want to look for like a macro update on something, or I want to look for someone's a content creator specific review on a coin to see if they found anything I didn't find. You know, it's more like fact checking myself to see what the scuttlebutt is and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, but
And
anyway,
can you drill down just a little
rambling.
bit before we move on what's the difference between you mentioned something about like strategic decisions. I haven't found a good way to say this in a soundbite, but like there's a big difference between the people whose moves in the market are like strategic and that I can replicate them based on how they laid out their reasoning. And then there are people who had good timing, had a lot of money and sprayed and prayed or got lucky. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah.
some people look at them and they're like, wow, this person's such a good trader. And I'm like, no, because I don't know how to explain that though. I usually just end up saying like what they do, how could you replicate it? But I feel like that's not the best way to phrase it.
How could you replicate getting lucky?
Yeah, I'm not asking you how could you replicate getting lucky. I'm asking you a second ago you said if it's not strategic, I don't follow it. So what I'm saying is that's one way to say it, but
Oh no,
I
it's not.
feel like a lot of
It's
people
what I
follow
was
folks who
talking
get lucky.
about was like I have a strategy. Like I know what types of coins I like. I really like DeFi coins because to me I believe in them and I have conviction because they get adoption amongst their targeted audience. Something that's very rare in crypto. So I like DeFi. So I look for DeFi. I look for hot ecosystems. Right now, Base and Solana are really hot ecosystems. Sui doing pretty well too. Hyperliquid could be one of those also. Talked about that with DeFi Daddy last night. And then I start diving into the tokenomics and figure out what the inflation rate is. If the inflation rate is high, do I think adoption can counteract that? You know, and then I take a look at the team, take a look at the founders, take a look at their community. You know, I have a process so that my decisions are strategic, and I'm not just hearing about a coin, having one or two little check marks, and then putting my money into it. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I mean about strategic. And then also, once I find a coin that I like, I then go to Bitcoin and I go, okay, cool. Is Bitcoin looking like it's going to go up? It's going to go down. If it's going to go up, I'd like to buy now. If it's going to go down, maybe I'll wait a little bit before I buy this coin. You know, strategic. Also, Duck Duck Goose, I do not believe the bull run is over in any way, shape, or form. Myself.
What do you say we answer a couple of these rapid fire questions because we're getting
Let's
a
do
lot
some
of them.
rapid fires, and then I got to head off. I'm starting to get worn down. I'm a little.
He's
I'm a
riding
little
his horse into the
sick.
sunset.
I'm a little
Okay,
sick.
the first thing is Tori asks scuttlebutt. Can you please define this? I think that must be an Eastern word.
Scuttlebutt. Yes, scuttlebutt is the what's the best way to describe this?
It's like the
I've never-
gossip,
I've
the
never
tea.
been- Yeah, it's like it's the. That's a good way of describing it. I was starting to go in a different route, but honestly, yeah, it's just like the undercurrent of the vibe
That
if
you're
you will,
hearing.
that you're
yeah.
hearing in the ether. You know,
Feel it
just like,
calling in the air tonight.
you know, scuttlebutt, like what people are talking about on Twitter, what people are talking about on YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Like, you know, what's in trend, what's in vogue, what's the
It's a much
scuttlebutt?
more interesting way to say what's the news than what's going on right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about NFTs? Are they coming back?
Actually, let's. I have said I have a theory that the top of the cycle will be when NFTs, old NFT projects, start getting back up to their highs based on their Ethereum valuations, or at least, you know, start recovering in a pretty damn big way. I'm curious, what's Bored Ape Yacht Club at right now? The NFT floor price.
I think Bored Apes have been flipped by Pudgy Penguins, and
Oh, they
Pudgies
have,
are
but the
leading the
thing is
PFP rally.
I'm really looking at Bored Ape Yacht Club though for a top signal because they haven't done a whole lot to be
Yeah.
valuable, which is why I'm using them as a potential canary in the cave mine. Because if they start getting close to like even just like halfway up their valuation, which was a floor of 72 Ethereum, that to me is a signal that like extreme ultimate greed is in the market and that we should be leaving because they haven't done a good job of remaining valuable. So if their value is up, that means that extreme speculative greed is in the market and you should sell into it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think NFTs, as we once knew them, little cute profile pictures for communities, might reemerge when McDonald's and Nike get into the game. I don't think that that's how NFTs will take over the world. NFTs will be a huge part of the infrastructure people use every day in the future, and mostly they won't know it. The way we rely on
Correct.
cell phones, I think NFTs are going to add verification to all kinds of details of our lives, most of which don't physically exist otherwise. So stay tuned for that. But identity, story, branding, all those things, art, are definitely going to have applications for NFT ownership. The medium of ownership will be forever changed because of NFTs. We had another question about what narratives do you guys think will be hot in the last quarter of this bull run? Do you think we're going to get any new narratives like what DeFi Daddy said last night, like DeFi?
Well, it depends on what the last quarter is. If the last quarter of the bull run is now, like a lot of people are saying, or next quarter, maybe not. That's not a lot of time. But if the last quarter is, the end of this year, then yeah, sure. That's basically a decade's worth of crypto time. Yeah, you could totally have something new pop up. But, it's a hard question to answer because we don't know when the last quarter of the bull run is going to be.
We had a couple questions for how do you learn charting? How do you use fib levels? Those kinds of things. And I would love for you to give an answer to this, but I want to give a quick commercial to say Will is working. He's cooking a TA class that later this month, probably sometime this week, I will announce you can sign up for. And later this month, he will teach. And you'll be able to get a recording of forever in perpetuity. If you want to learn to chart like Will, this is your chance to start. And I would say don't wait for the class. Get in our Discord because we've got a whole technical analysis channel there where not just Will, but all kinds of nerds are looking at charts all the time and talking about what they're doing, how you can do it too. So the question specifically is, how do you guys use fib retracement levels to find support? I don't see Will using them in his daily analysis videos and wonder why. Your comment, Will Watson.
I use them all the time. It's just that you don't see them in my videos because they're ugly. They are like super multicolored. It's not a good display for a TikTok video. So there's a bit of a TikTok video qualityness that, does go into things. But I mean, I use it all the time. Yeah, I mean, like how you use them is, let's see, can I put it on Morpho's chart right now? Actually, I have it on my Aerodrome chart.
Are you going to the computer? I'll do the screen share so you can move.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm on the computer, but
hold tight, everybody.
You don't need to screen share because you won't see my chart.
Are you going to do it? No, but I was going to put it on. You don't understand. I was going to do it on StreamYard if you screen shared it there so that everybody can see it. That way, everybody in more places can see it.
Fancy.
Do a little screen share there, and I'll get it here. Hold tight. The chart is coming.
StreamYard. Present. Share screen.
Here it comes. Hang on.
Don't show these tips again.
Look, there he is.
Entire screen.
He's here twice.
Share.
Aha. Hang on. Let me supersize you.
Supersize me. Let's just simplify this.
There he is. Which one is real?
Are you not seeing my trading view screen?
No, what has to happen? Hang on. Let me back out of this and do this. Everybody, this is the behind the scenes that you get when you watch the Rise Up Morning Show. Here you go.
There you go.
This is how the sausage is made.
Yeah, and I didn't just put this on the chart or anything. This was on my chart. You'll see a lot of the times I'll just get rid of the Fibonacci retracement and I'll just like draw magenta lines on the chart that you might see sometimes. A lot of times I will clear it up though, because it just looks ugly having a lot of lines on the TikTok chart or in a TikTok video. But this is just on my chart. As you can see, for Aerodrome specifically, we broke this line of support. We broke the 21-day exponential moving average. We broke this Fibonacci retracement line. Clear next line of support here is 95 cents, which also happens to line up with a point of resistance and support, point of resistance and support, 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 resistance and support. And yeah, there you go. So 95 cents, real strong area for Aerodrome. I use Fibonacci retracement all the time.
Interesting.
But what I'll do for my videos is I'll go here, I'll draw this line, and then I take this and I delete.
Got it.
And then these lines are always like this.
Do you have, in the meantime, while people are waiting for your class to come out, Will, do you have suggestions for like a basic tutorial that people who want to learn to use TradingView to do their charting can look at to see how these tools work? Are there good tutorials on TradingView? I don't use it personally, so I really have no idea.
No, I'm sure there are. I just don't have any to provide, unfortunately, because how I learned how to trade was just by watching people. I watched, who did I watch a lot of? Data Dash on. I watched YouTube for content creators because there's a far better quality of content creators on crypto on YouTube in my personal experience than on TikTok for sure, which is the reason why I started making content on TikTok. I thought there was a need for high quality content here. And so on YouTube, it was Data Dash, Coin Bureau, it was Crypto Lark. I started with Altcoin Daily for back in 2017. Ivan on Tech. The only person on YouTube I really will watch a video of every now and again is Invest Answers. Keith, if you're here, hey. And just like, and a lot of those guys will have different strategies. And one guy who's a really big Fibonacci retracement plus Elliott Wave theory guy, and I suck at Elliott Wave theory, is a guy by the name of Philicone, who has a YouTube channel. He has Twitter.
Oh yeah.
He has a paid group that gets all of his stuff. And he was the #1 trader at Binance for 2 years. He's a very, very, very good trader, particularly a shorter. And so I had all this slew of influencers I watched, and they all did stuff a little differently. And I kind of took what worked for them, tried to see if it worked for me, found out what didn't work for me, found out what worked for me. And then I ended up just over years getting my strategy, which, works. So, yeah.
I have to highlight a couple of comments. First of all, folks say thank you very much for showing your charts. Leave the lines. We can handle them. I need to read you this. This is from Exit Liquidity, who says, I don't know about you guys, but as soon as I got my silver tooth in the front, I started winning. I don't know about you, Will, but I definitely need a silver tooth. And then the other comment I want to highlight for you is from J Pill, who says, my bags are older than DeFi Daddy. As a final thought, I know you got to go. Can you tell us what are the indicators that you use most in your TA?
The stochastic RSI, the MACD. Those are the ones I use the most in combination with the exponential moving averages of the 12, the 21, the 55, and the 200. And those are the ones I use the most. I think the RSI is a really good indicator for knowing when the top of the Bitcoin bull run is in. If you do it on the weekly or the monthly time frame, I think it's the monthly.
Are you going to show us more? Hang on.
I will show you more. Oh, I am sharing.
I will show you more. Hang on, here it comes. So here he goes. He's putting his little RSI on there. Yeah, because here's Bitcoin's chart throughout all of history, right? These green lines are the halving. Oh, okay. I still have this guy here. Goodbye. These vertical green lines we're talking about. Yeah, and as you can see, when Bitcoin gets super green, and you might have like a fake top sometimes, but super green, you had about a month or two to get out. I mean, this turned super green about here. You had about 1 to 3, 2.5 or so months to get out. But basically, when it turns super green on the monthly RSI, it's typically a real good time to potentially start taking your chips off the table. And here, last cycle, it signaled very clearly we were at the top at our first top. You could have sold everything here, watched this, not ridden it, and honestly, you would have been exactly the same. You would have been just as good. So when the monthly RSI is turning bright green, as you can see, we haven't gotten anywhere near there yet. That is oftentimes a alarm bell to you that you have about 2 months. Interesting. So the RSI on the monthly time frame is really great for that. Yeah. Okay. Super helpful. And if you want to know more about Will's indicators and how to use them, we've got 2 products that you can grab at the riseupmorningshow.com. We've got Will's research template that you can apply your learning from Will's technical analysis guide. It's all the tips, tricks, how to use them. PDF just costs you a couple bucks. I think it's like $5, and if you buy them together, it's cheaper. So you can be charting today right now. We're not going to sell out of them. It's a digital product. They're not scarce. We would love for you to get that. And if you don't have the money to spend, then like, don't fret, don't sweat. Jump in the Discord server because Will is there all the time. Yeah, don't fret, don't sweat. It's cool outside, baby. And Will is going to be hosting the live TA class. We're going to offer that to 15 different folks live because we want to make sure it's a good classroom vibe. And we'll have an unlimited supply of the recordings in perpetuity. We will absolutely offer that class, other TA classes again. Will, I know you need to go take some vitamin C and maybe rest up a bit. Do you have a final thought, a good joke, a word of wisdom, question, or suggestion for folks as you ride your dog and pony into the sunset?
It is totally fine for your stance to be wait and see. You don't have to be buying and you don't have to be selling. Sometimes you can just say, I'm just going to watch and see how this market unfolds. That's totally fine. And often, and a lot of times, best decision. You can see I'm in that position. Doug's in that position. I'm not buying. I'm not selling. I'm hodling my stuff. And I'm just waiting to see what the market's going to tell us. And a lot of the times too, what I'll say, this will be the last thing. The moments of pain happen quickly. The moments of extreme gains also happen quickly. A lot of the times things can be boring for a very, very long period of time. And that's when people get anxious. Those times are pretty good though, because that enables people to build. It enables the filth in the space to fall down. It gives you time to reevaluate your strategy. You know, what mistakes did you make? What good decisions did you make? So that when markets start going up or down again in those super quick time periods, you know, you have a new, hopefully better strategy. So, you know, right now we're in a time where things are down, but be patient, reevaluate your strategy, reapply a new strategy, learning from mistakes. And then the thing is, like I said before, things are going down right now, but things go up again fast when they decide to go up. So, you know, this pain you're in can be healed pretty quick. Assuming, of course, there's no rug pull in a coin that you're in, or, you know, you don't make a mistake, all that kind of stuff. You know,
yeah, well said. I'm going to wrap up with just there are a couple of trailing questions here. So feel free to go, brother. Like I said, I know you're not feeling too great. I hope you feel better. Tell Violet we say hi, and have a great weekend, my friend.
Evan says hi.
Hi, Violet.
She says hello.
Okay.
Oh, and what I'll try to do is today I don't really have a whole lot of work stuff. So I have a one-on-one coaching session with a remaining half hour that I'm giving to him for free because he's scheduled for an hour and a half. So we're just going to do an hour. But after that, this afternoon, probably going to post in the video game section of Discord to see if anybody wants to just like play a few video games this afternoon. If some people can, you know, hang out with me, shoot some aliens in Helldivers 2 per chance.
Pew, pew, pew.
Maybe Space Marines 2, you know? I don't know.
Okay, well, that's a good pitch. Okay. I'm into it. I'll see you there. I'll see you in the chat. And if you have a last minute question, don't fret. I do have one or two questions that I wanted to answer for you. Specifically, you asked, can you pay for those things in crypto? Like Will's TA guide. He's backstage on the other show doing wild moves. Can you pay for the TA guide in crypto? Our Beacons page that is our website doesn't allow you to pay in crypto. But if you want to pay for anything that we offer in crypto, absolutely. Send us a message in the Discord server. We do coaching. I've got some coaching appointments later today. Will's got some. Would love to take payment in crypto. Because it's us. Crypto Doge said, read this out. Cycle tops in. Someone else said, is this a super cycle? Someone else said, should I buy or hold or sell? Let the sentiment tell you. An indicator from this side of the screen that not everybody gets to see is that when the market dips even a little bit, everybody comes out with very strong opinions. And for the most part, most of them are wrong. Like Will said, the best thing to do is to work for yourself, think for yourself. Absolutely. And then spend time around people who are concertedly learning so you can learn how to do that. That's why we have the Discord. It's totally free to get in there and hang out, start learning with others who are talking about this every day. And the last thing I wanted to say, my final thought is PiCoin, I'm so sorry to tell you this, is a scam. It is a PUPO, which stands for Ponzi until proven otherwise. That means you can't sell it. You can't sell it for cash. You could maybe find somebody who will take your PiCoin and give you a gift card or who will pay you privately, but there is no liquid market for PiCoin the way there is for Bitcoin. So don't spend any more time or attention on it. It is an attention suck. It is a day to suck. They are getting rich and you are losing money or attention. Not a scam in the sense that they're going to take a bunch of money from you and rug you, but every dollar or second you spend with them is not well spent. So, my friends, we will be back Monday morning, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll be here Monday through Thursday for more of your crypto questions. And if you have a question in the meantime, jump in the Discord. If I or Will or Alex reaches out to you directly, know that it is not us. It is an impersonator who looks like us, who wants to use the trust you have with us to take your money. We will never, ever, 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 ever message you first. We'll never message you first in Discord. We'll never message you first on TikTok. Anybody who does is a scammer. Whether they look like me or Mac Lorden or anybody else, they want to take your money. Those are very common scams in crypto. Don't let them fool you. The best way to protect yourself against the scam is to follow us and then to jump in the Discord server. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're watching on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, that's true for you guys too. Don't fall for the scammers. Let's keep each other safe out there, okay? Everybody, thank you for being the best part of the show. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. Be well. And until next time, everybody,